First, arouse in the other person an eager want. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot, walks a lonely way. Harry A. Overstreet.
If you want to influence people, it is of utmost importance that you do what this quote is saying, and arouse in them an eager want. You do this by talking about what it is they desire, and showing them how to achieve it. So, the next time you want to urge someone to take action, before you say anything, take a second and ask yourself, how do I make this person have a deep desire to do it? When you look at another's point of view, and arouse in them an eager want for something, do not construe it as manipulating that person, in an effort to get them to do something that will benefit you only and to their detriment. Both parties must gain from the negotiation.
The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Dale Carnegie.
To influence people, you must also do your best to avoid arguments. It is the simplest way to get the best of any argument. Oftentimes, when you enter into an argument, it is vulgar and aimless. When the argument ends, everyone involved tends to be more convinced that their position, when they began to argue, was the right one. Keep in mind that in reality, you won't win any argument. You may ask why? Look at it this way. When you win an argument, and show how stupid someone is, afterward, you may feel good about yourself, but the other person will feel resentful. When they have this feeling, it's anyone's guess as to what they will do. Chances are, you will have created an enemy. So which is best for you, a theatrical, academic victory, or someone's goodwill? It's unlikely you can have both. Seeing the other person's point of view, with a sympathetic desire, conciliation, diplomacy, and tact, are key elements in ending a misunderstanding, not an argument.
A lot of arguments can be avoided if we simply stop and think about our response before we say it. Charles Harper.
This quote is asking you to take a moment and consider how you should respond to a potential argument. When faced with a situation where a disagreement can potentially become an argument, here are a few things you can do to keep it from becoming one. First, see the disagreement as an opportunity to find out if you are wrong, lest you make a big mistake. Next, you should not trust your first instinctive reaction, which is usually defensive. You may not be at your best at that moment, so keep calm. This leads to one of the most important points. Control your temper. Next, you should listen first. Give the other person the opportunity to talk and say what they have to say. Do not interrupt. Try to understand their point of view. You must also look for areas where you both agree after you have heard the other person's viewpoint. You will also want to admit any error you may have made, as this will help lessen the other person's defensiveness and even disarm them. Sincerely think over the other person's ideas and thoughts, and carefully study them. They may be right. Thank the other person for their interest. The fact that they made time to air their disagreement shows their interest in the things you are. See them as someone who truly wants to help you. You may end up turning them into a friend.
I have to respect others' opinions, even if I don't agree with them. Nathaniel Brandon.
This quote highlights another key element in influencing people: respecting the opinions of others. One important thing to remember is to stay away from telling people that they are wrong. When you do so, you are not showing them respect. Now, you do this not only in verbal ways, but also by a gesture, an intonation, or by a look. People will not want to agree with you if you tell them they are wrong. You will never change their mind. If someone says something that you think is incorrect, it's better to begin by saying, "I hear what you are saying, I thought otherwise and I could be wrong. I am wrong often enough. Now if I am off base, I want to know what's right. So let's look at the facts. People will be more receptive to such statements.
The best of us must sometimes eat our words. J.K. Rowling.
What Rowling is saying is, if you are wrong, then admit it. When you realize that you are wrong, and intend to admit it, do so quickly and emphatically. Admitting your error takes some degree of courage on your part, and there is also some satisfaction when you do so. Any defensiveness and guilt that lingers will be cleared. Also, the problem the error created will be solved. People tend to show you some degree of respect when you admit you are wrong, and are more likely to begin listening to what you have to say.
Always be friendly, always be kind, like the most beautiful flower that you can find. Debasish Mria.
On your road to influencing people, begin each encounter in a friendly way. If you take a negative approach, you will likely be met with hostile attitudes and resistance. If someone has this ill feeling towards you, chances are, you won't be able to win him over to your way of thinking, no matter what. No one can be forced or driven to agree with you. It is possible, however, they can be led to, with gentleness and friendliness.
Where the waters do agree, it is quite wonderful the relief they give. Jane Austen.
When having conversations with others, it's better to not begin by talking about those things on which you differ. Start instead with those things that you agree on, and keep emphasizing them. This quote is talking about that. You should keep on emphasizing that everyone is striving for the same result, and that the differences are about method. If you can get the other person to say yes in the beginning, that would be a great positive. It will get things moving along quicker. Try to keep them from saying no. Once they say no, that's a difficult handicap to get over.
People love to talk, so let them have fun talking. Catherine Hardwicke.
This quote represents a key element in winning people over. Since people love to talk, it is important that you let them do most of the talking. They are more aware of their problems and business than you. Keep asking them leading questions so you can learn. Patiently listen sincerely without interrupting, and keep an open mind.
It is wise to persuade people to do things and make them think it was their own idea. Nelson Mandela.
In this quote, you are being advised that you should let others think that an idea or opinion was theirs. Most people have greater faith and interest in ideas that they discovered for themselves than if it was suggested by others. So do not try to force your views on others, they will resist. The best you can do is to suggest something, and then allow the other person to work out a conclusion.
You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Harper Lee.
One of the key things to master when influencing others is to truly see things from their perspective. Always keep in mind that the other person may be wrong in every way, but they don't believe so. Never condemn them. Do your best to understand their point of view. Figure out why they think and act as they do. Put yourself in their place. Begin by asking yourself, how would I feel and react if I were in their shoes? By doing so, you will have saved yourself the irritation and time. This skill will take time to master, but when you do, you will have avoided making enemies and get superior results.
One who is kind is sympathetic and gentle with others. He is considerate of others' feelings and courteous in his behavior. Ezra Taft Benson.
This quote is encouraging you to be sympathetic to others. This also applies to influencing people. To show sympathy when someone expresses their negative feelings, you could say, "I don't blame you for feeling the way you do. I would feel the same way if I was in your situation." This phrase, and others like it, is one sure way to stop an argument, do away with ill feelings, get the other person to pay attention, and create cooperative feelings. Most people you meet are longing and thirsting for sympathy. You should give it to them. Chances are, they will like you for it.
A man must learn to understand the motives of human beings, their illusions, and their sufferings. Albert Einstein.
Einstein in this quote is asking you to do your best to understand why people do what they do. What drives them? If you want to influence others, you must be aware that people have two basic reasons for doing anything, one that sounds or looks good, and the real one. They think of motives that seem acceptable to others. So, in changing others to your viewpoint, it's best to appeal to their nobler motives, those that appeal to their heart.